Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Hope you guys are doing good today. Happy Wednesday. It is cloudy out. It's been raining, um, and it's been a interesting day. So I went to the gym. This is my third day in a row. I try not to stay too long, probably a half an hour each time I go. I think today I stayed a little bit longer, but yeah, after going to the gym, what I like to do also um, is turmeric tea because the I don't like medication really, guys. Pain meds and stuff like that. I take them when the pain in my knee like gets crazy or whatever. It starts to hurt a lot. Then I take what I'm taking now, turmeric tea. I like to go to Walmart and find all these teas, different teas that you can drink that help. The turmeric tea really helps, guys. If you have like joint pain or whatever, I take this or the powdered turmeric. You put that in some water, some cold water, drink that. Actually, that really helps because it decreases the inflammation in your body. And especially on days where you have aches and pains because of the rain, um, so all of this stuff helps. And, I try to do that, especially after the gym and working out. Walmart sells it. I think Market Basket sells the teas too. You can go in the section where the coffee is, and then you see the tea, and they have all different types of tea. It really helps. So I hope you guys are having a good day. My day has been okay so far. It's been pretty okay. No complaints here, and I'm thanking God for everything, you know. I just take it one day at a time. So, guys, let's get into this topic of discussion today. I look a little different today. Went to the gym, then took a shower, then changed, and then I have to go back to work soon. But I wanted to come on here as I said that I would. And we're going to talk about different topics. Like I said, some days it's going to be intense, other days it won't be as intense. But the reason for that is because some days, some people need to hear the message. And I like to share my personal experiences because, as I always tell you guys, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a social worker, I don't have a degree in that category, even though I do have a degree. And I just talk from my personal experiences, my pain, and what I had to crawl, bite, and chew through. Because for some reason, some people think, oh, you got this, you got everything. No, anything I have, I had to fight, crawl, fight, and chew through problems and situations and etc. Nothing was ever easy for me, even as a child. So, I talk about those things because there's some people who show up on this channel who might be currently going through the things that I'm talking about. And I am talking about these things because whatever I'm saying here on how I got through those situations may resonate with someone and it may actually help them to get through it too. Because we all got things going on in our life. The key factor is to help each other, to climb out of these situations and then pay it forward, and then as you climb out of these situations, you can be a blessing to others by sharing your personal experiences on how you got through it. So let's get into this topic of discussion today, which is grieving past over loved ones. And I want to talk about grief today because, like I said, I've had a hard time when it comes to, losing my mom, my dog. And, I've even had people say to me before, it's been like 3 or 4 years now, aren't you? When you going to get through that? You never get over the loss. You can get through the pain of the loss, but you never get over the loss because you feel it every day of your life. And many of you who've lost people, you know what I'm talking about, especially people who meant the world to you. Let me hear about it in a comment category as well, because this kind of pain, especially losing parents, God forbid, children, spouse, all of this things touch us very deeply, and it's hard to get through the pain of it. We never get over the loss, but we can get through the pain of it all, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to show you guys something. This is a picture of me and my dog, Rocky. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me lift this up. This is Rocky and me. This is when I lived upstate New York. And yeah, that dog meant everything to me. I love Rocky. And when he passed away during the shutdown, man, I was like, and he died after my mom died. A lot of people died in between, that were in my life, and it was just horrific. But when my dog died, that thing really, really hit me hard. Not to say with my mom, but that hit me hard too. But my dog, for those who are pet lovers, they mean everything to you, right? And it was just hard. Rocky had taken a fall down the stairs. He had arthritis in his paw, and had to pick him up and carry him. And I think he messed up something in his nerves, and I was back and forth at the doctor with him, acupuncture, back and forth to hospital. I did everything. It looked like he was going to be able to walk because his hind legs were affected, and then it was just downhill after that. And it looked like he was getting better for a minute, and it just got worse to the point where there was no choice but to put him down because he was in so much pain. And I had someone from the church go with me. I couldn't even stay in the room. I had to kiss him goodbye when they hooked him up. It was just the saddest thing. And then I have his ashes with me. They gave me his ashes. And when that came, oh my God, it was like the reality of that. It was so painful, guys. This is just really, even to this day, I keep his ashes with me. But losing a pet is hard, people, too. And I want to talk about grief, because when you start going through losses and you start dealing with losses, and loss after loss after loss, you're not thinking clearly, because you're starting to be in a space of grief, because especially unexpected losses, like people who are dying, you pray and you hope that they don't pass over, and they're sick, and you understand that they're at that point. But I'm talking about unexpected deaths where people just dropping dead and things like that. Those are hard as well, and it takes a toll on your mental and physical health as well as the others, but it just is hard. But what I learned through therapy is crying is an outlet for the pain, because I was just angry all the time. Because, one person died, you go to a memorial service, and during a shutdown, most of these services were online. Then a couple of weeks later, boom, somebody else. And then a month later, this one here, that one. It was like, it was too much, people. It was really a lot. And that's when I started, realizing that I needed therapy after my mom passed away. And I had that conversation. One of the things that affected me the most, which I do not suggest, um, family try to tell me family about family tradition, but to me, this is a so-called tradition, which is not a tradition at all. To me, that needs to be stopped. When my mom passed away, she passed away in a nursing home. She was already compromised with other health situations. But what really got to her is with the COVID, just, added to her other situations that were going on. It just, took her out of here. Excuse me. So, um, my one of my siblings, like I said, I don't share names and specific details, but took, we were on like a family text, and she took 4 pictures of my mom. She had the nursing home to actually take it because we couldn't go there at the time. 4 pictures of her deceased. And that went on a family text where the entire family was on it, and it went to my son. And I was pissed off big time. That went to his phone. He saw his grandmother like that. This should never be. And I understand that we couldn't have an in-person funeral because everything, it was right in the middle of the shutdown. Like the shutdown, I believe, took place in February of 2020, and she passed away in April of 2020. So nobody was going anywhere but to the supermarket and back, and etc. But still, that shouldn't have been a last memory. The four pictures of her in that position, and I screamed and was just devastated when I saw that. So I can imagine how my son felt when he saw that. And I just really told my sister, this is not it. This is not what you should be doing. I don't care about any tradition or whatever it is. If mom was here, mom would never want this circulating on a family text. And I was very upset about it. So certain things people, and it triggered the grief within me and made it worse when I saw that. So people, be careful when you're dealing with people who are going through grief and they're losing people. Be careful what you say, what you do. If you don't know what to say or do, just listen to them. Sometimes people just need your support, just to hear. You can't do anything about that person passed over, but having a support system, someone who can listen and be understanding. And I also that's when I started listening to a whole lot of music, because music is a healing source for the pain as well. Because it was too much, people. It's important also to keep your passed over loved one's memory alive by telling stories of what they brought to your life, how they enhanced your life, things you did together. Someone who recently passed away about a week ago, which shocked me, and I found out, which really upset me. What I noticed that, because she knew she was sick and all, and she spent time with one of her children, and she had pictures, like created this whole new theme so that she have a memory of her when she is no longer here. And I thought that was really good. So what's important is to talk about them, keep their memory alive, no matter who they may be. If they were something in your life that meant everything to you, talk about it. Because that's how you keep their spirit alive. You keep them alive, even though they're not here in a physical. Um, I always, like, during the time that I was grieving, I didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to do anything, um, because I felt a lot of guilt. Like when my mom was alive, she would tell me certain things, and I didn't want to hear it at the time. You know, for those who have mothers, why, we would talk sometimes about credit, because my credit at the time was really bad. Not real bad, but bad because it's just getting things off the table that I should have been working on. Like if you have something and it goes to collections, and then it's already on your credit report, and it lowers your score. And I would never do anything about it and say, well, it's too late. And my mom would tell me, this is what you can do. Don't even let it get that far. If you would do A, B, C, and D, and I would tune it out like the Charlie Brown adults on a cartoon, wah 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 wah, because I didn't want to hear it, because it was work. I didn't, not that I'm lazy or anything. I just didn't want to be bothered with the situation, because I felt like it shouldn't have gotten that far. But the least I am today is totally different, because one of the things I do understand, people, is that when your loved ones and you're very close to them and you had a relationship with them, when they pass over, they guide you, and they guide you, Guide, and they're really there for you. I had an aunt who passed over before my mom and said, I will always be with you, and I swear she's around me. I know some people don't believe in that, but I know it's true because of the things that's been happening. And so, since I didn't listen in life the way I should have, and going through grief and all these things was getting worse and stuff was happening, And that's when I started therapy. I had to lift myself up, prayer with God. If you help me, God, and I made a vow to God, if you help me, I'm gonna help myself. I'm going to, do force myself to do blah blah blah, etc. And not only that, as I did that, guys, and started therapy and prayer and doing those things, then my mom and grandmother was coming to me in dreams because I didn't know how to do that. You know how I talk a lot about getting you receiving a box of pieces of a puzzle, right? You don't know what that picture is until you start putting the pieces together. You don't have any clue what it is until you start putting those pieces together, and then you can see the background of what the picture is. Oh, okay. That's a cabin in the woods, or that's a picture of some animals, or whatever it might be. But I didn't know how this was going to turn out. So in dreams, and I was getting dreams, and the dreams felt so real, like they were actually there. When I woke up, like I just had a conversation with my mother, and she kept trying to tell me about this situation with this credit and finances and blah blah. And I was like, yeah, until my grandmother showed up. I swear. And with my grandmother, she's got less words in a situation than my mother. It's just her whole demeanor about things. And I started to get together, put stuff together. And what they were telling me to do in a dream, right, about my situation didn't make sense to me because I like to do things my way, you know. And we all get stuck in that sometimes, but I'm talking to you guys about the old version of how I used to be, right? Because we all have something. Because this is going to help somebody, and I just like to do stuff my way, and that's how it is, and whatever. Until grandma showed up in a dream. This is how you're going to get yourself out of this situation with these your credit situation, this and that, and etc. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because that's never going to work if I do A, B, C, and D, which I'm not going to go into details what was said. And so I begrudgingly started doing it little by little, and it's like, oh, this is too much because you got to jump through hoops to get from A to B to C to D. And I didn't want to go through those hoops. But as I started to do the work and listen, it started to get better, just like they said. And the more they came to me, my dreams to say, okay, now that you got that issue resolved, now go and take care of that. I'm like, that's not, do it this way. And then I just started listening, and stuff started to improve and to get better. And I got my credit where it needed to be. I got the bills off, paid off, all the things taken care of. It wasn't easy. It took what, about 2 years? No, a year and a half or so to get this stuff done. But I didn't give up. And you're going to bite, you're going to crawl through this stuff. Now imagine doing all this stuff and you're also in the middle of grief. And then so the therapy would help me. Then I started with music, prayer. And then I remember I made a vow to God that I was going to at least try, right? And I said I have to because I don't play with God, people. If I make a vow about something, I don't talk about all the vows I made. Um, and no, celibacy is one of them. I don't know why I had to say that. But anyway, one of the vows that I made, I'm single, guys. I'm not dating anyone. I just threw that out there. But one of the vows I made that I was going to try, because I wasn't putting forth the effort that I should. And I said, I have to try. I have to do this because I made a vow to God that I would. And as I made a step, like I always talk about in my prior videos, as I take these steps, God was behind the scene taking 2, 3, and 4 steps. And that's the truth. And as I started to see that, it motivated me and uplifted me to go on. Because if God can do this on my behalf, and back then, guys, I was taking steps, but all of me wasn't into taking the steps. I did it because I said I have to do this. You know how it's just like you get up in the morning, you go to work, you know, um, and you just do what you got to do. But I started to realize that everything that I was told was happening. It was falling together. Everything was coming together. And I said, but this, how is this happening? Because of me taking the steps, because God was taking the steps behind the scenes as I continued to take the steps. And I had to bite, crawl, and fight through a lot of things. And that was the difficult part of all of this while going through grief. But as I did the work and started moving forward and healing myself, let myself cry because I didn't want to cry about situations, let myself feel anger, let yourself feel those emotions. But the important key factor is not to let yourself stay there. And on top of the situation, everything that I was going through, people, I also had people around me who who were not there for my highest good. Let's say it that way. And what I mean by that, they were not there for me. They wanted me there for them when they had issues and problems, because that's how I was, the old version of myself, subservient. People would call me and oh this and that, and and I go running, skipping and hopping. And and I was told in dreams, look at the people you got around you. Even after I prayed and I thought about things and meditated, look at what you have around you. Some of these people are not there for your highest good, you know? And I really started to notice it because there was somebody who I had around me for a while who I thought was a good friend, etc. Until I walked into a conversation where they were telling people, don't worry about Lisa. I got her wrapped around my finger, just like a puppet on a string. All I got to do is tell her to jump and she'll say, hi, hi. I was like, WTF? When I heard that conversation, it's time for me to cut off, block, and delete these people from my life. And then, I took that conversation back to my therapist. And I was all over the place, crying, blah, blah, because this is somebody who I trusted and who I thought had my back, just like I had their back. And then to walk into a conversation where this person is saying, I got Lisa wrapped up around my finger. I tell her to do whatever and she's going to do it. And when I talked to my therapist about it, and I'm a person when I get upset at times, oh, this happened, and he's very calm, cool, collective. And he said, Lisa, it's time to set boundaries. And I'm like, that's all you have to say? This is, and I started doing the work and I started to set boundaries. And as I did it, cut off, block, and delete. And at first, guys, I was so like not comfortable with doing that. And then I would unblock people, give them another chance, and they would do something worse. And now when I get to the point, I have boundaries that I say, listen, it's time to set some boundaries, A, B, C, and D. And I do that. And then I don't once a person disrespect the boundaries, I cut off, block, and delete. I have no time for it. Life is too short to be engaging in drama and negativity, especially someone who lost a lot and a lot of people who meant everything to you, and you're grieving and you're going through things. Um, it's not okay. It's not okay to have people to come in your life who just, want you to be subservient to their needs and whatever. And what I had to do is remove people from my life. And some of them didn't want to go and leave, and I had to become the person I am today. Not that I'm a bad person. What I mean by that is I had to, what is the word I'm looking for? Stand up for myself is what I'm trying to say, which I wasn't doing before, and I do that now because as I heal and I learn and I grow and evolve, I start to self-care. As I self-care, I'm taking care of my physical and mental health, right? Because we all need to do that. And whether it's music, whether it's in meditation, whether it's in prayer with God, whether it's just sitting by a lake of water, things that uplift the spirit and not the toxicity. As I do that, I start to self care. And as I start to self care, I start to self love. We all are supposed to love ourselves. We all are supposed to take care of ourselves. And when someone has a problem with that, then they need to go and take time out and find out why they have a problem with that, because we all are supposed to be in a space to take care of ourselves, especially with all this chaotic stuff going on in the world today, toxicity, and people starting drama, looking for drama. And you could be over here in a corner healing, minding your business, and somebody somewhere from the past want to drag you into some drama that you have nothing to do with, you don't know anything about. And that's why I had to lift myself up and relocate myself from the place of toxicity and remove myself from it all, leave it all behind. And it was difficult for me, but as I start to grow, heal, continue therapy, and continue to take care of myself, I realized it was for my best interest, because things that are not for your highest good, sometimes besides setting boundaries, you got to leave that stuff where it is, because people will hate you, rate you, and do whatever when you're trying to heal, grow, and evolve. Because some people don't want to see your light shine. They don't want to see you in a better place. They don't want to see you healed, and I had to cut that loose, and it was hard. But the least I am today, I am grateful that God gave me a chance. I'm grateful that I'm healing, and I'm grateful that I'm able to share with other people how I'm getting through it, because I don't have a support system. Some people do, where they can go over to A, B, C, and D. I don't have that but God, because the support that I had and the people who are around me are no longer here. They're in the ground, many of them. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but I had to know that I had to lift myself up. And if I can do it without a support system, guys, and if I can crawl, bite, and chew through these problems and situations that kept coming up over and over again while I was going through the grief, if I can do that with the help of God, you can do it too. And when God see that you are trying, even if you put your foot in the water, you're not completely in that water, but you dip your foot in there. God will be behind the scenes helping you. And I promise you that if your intentions are good and pure, and you're trying and you're doing the work little by little, even if you're going to fall down, because you're going to fall, but as long as you don't stay down. It's just like riding a bike. You get on, you don't ride perfect the first time. You're going to fall down on your face a few times. And you get up and keep trying until you ride that bike, without falling. And this is what I had to learn. And I persevered through a lot of things. I don't give up. I have days just like everybody else where I don't feel like doing anything, etc., whatever. But music helped change that mood within me. And then I think about the grief and the pain, and I have pain and cry sometimes because there's things I want to tell my mother. This, I miss my dog, things like that. But I tell myself, like, I think about what my therapist tell me. Would your mother ever want you to stay in a place of pain and misery and not enjoy your life? And the answer to that is no. She would want me to embrace my life to the fullest, enjoy it, go out there, do things. And that's why I relocated myself from a place of toxicity and situation so that I can do that, embrace life to the fullest, my life to the fullest. Take a small step, and then God is doing the rest as I do that, you know. And things are getting better. My grief is still there, and I still have grief trigger moments, but it's not as bad, because what happens when I stay in a place where I'm crying too much, I swear, I go to bed, I have a dream, and it's like my grandmother's right there. You can cry, you can feel that. Don't stay there. Get up. Because it was about a week and a half ago, and it was on a Sunday, because Sunday nights are hard, and it was like crying my eyes out because I really wanted to talk to my mother and tell her about something, and said the something that she told me to do a long time ago, I did it and how it worked out, and etc. And I had that overwhelming urge to talk to her. And I'm like, wow, I can't talk to her anymore. And I was just crying, crying. When I went to sleep, my grandmother came to me and said, it's okay to cry. Don't stay there. Get up. Keep going. Keep moving, you know? And no matter how hard it gets, I keep moving. That's the key factor, people. Don't give up. Don't allow anyone to force you to give up on yourself. Investing in you, even with the grief and the pain, you can get through it You never get over it, but I swear to you, you can get through it, because if I can do it, you can do it too. And it's not easy. Take one day at a time, take one step at a time. The key factor is not to allow yourself to stay in a place of pain, which can cause stagnation and depression and anxiety and all those things you don't need and want. The mental health and the physical health is everything. So keep moving. Let the naysayers say what they want to say, and the haters and whatever. Tune that stuff out, because people are going to talk about you whether you're doing good or whether you're not. So you keep that at a bay, and you keep focusing on your physical and mental health, and how to control um, grief triggers and things of that nature. And surround yourself with positive people and positive situations. And that's what I look for today. Embracing the good and leaving the negativity where it is, because it doesn't belong over here. Take one day at a time. And I promise you, as you take those steps, you go to God, you ask Him to help, and you're sincere, really, and you're not in behind the scenes trying to do no low down dirty stuff, and you're really genuine, and you're really trying to get better and help yourself. God will take a step to help you as you take a step. He's taking two and three. Somebody needs to hear that today, because somebody's dealing with grief really bad, and they feel like they don't have a support system. And I know what that feels like, because I've gone through that. But do not give up on yourself. Self investment is a priority here. It's not an option. It's a priority, because without your physical and mental health, you can't function. You can't do anything for yourself or anybody else. And the first step I would suggest is therapy. Find a therapist that you vibe with, connect with that therapist, and start there. And I promise you, as you continue to move forward, you're going to figure it out, like I did. It's going to start to make sense on what you need to do to continue to move forward. And then day by day, little by little, you start to feel better and you do better. Embrace the good in your life, because your Passover loved ones would never want you to stay in a place of pain and hurt. That's the message today, guys. I hope this helps someone. Keep showing up at this channel. Subscribe, because every day is going to be a new message, a different one. And it's always going to be something that I've gone through and how I've gotten through it or gotten through it, so that it can help somebody else. And it may resonate with someone, and they can apply these things into their own situation in life. Because the important thing as well is to pay it forward to help other people. We never judge on this channel. We never condemn people. We're here to uplift. And that's the key factor as well. Thank you all for being here today. I will show up again tomorrow. Not sure of the time, but please subscribe to the channel. Comment and let me know how this channel is helping you, and what's important to you as well. Because it's not just about me showing up. It's about you guys being here, to uplift. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, always shedding love and light. And you guys have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.